Lately, it feels like everybody's been jumping on the I hate Chase bandwagon. And honestly, I get it. The frustration is real. But here's the thing. It does not matter what faceless people on the internet have to say. And these days, people will find anything to complain about. So what really matters is whether or not a card or credit card setup makes sense for you and your situation. But regardless, Chase has entered a brand new era after making some massive changes to their ecosystem lately. And even for a self-proclaimed Chase fanboy like me, there's some cause for concern. Has Chase finally taken it too far? Will I be canceling my Chase Sapphire Reserve? And what does this mean for my overall Chase strategy going forward? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. First, I want to start by breaking down those changes that Chase has made recently, so we're all starting on the same foot. And there's three main points here. First is going to be some card refreshes. Second is that they are changing their application rules. And third, they have changed their travel portal boost feature, which is a bigger deal than some of you may think. Now, what do all of these changes have in common? Well, Chase is pulling a page out of other lenders' books, specifically American Express. The first big shift we saw this year was whenever Chase refreshed the United cards back in March of this year. And this isn't something that I even covered on the channel because I'm just not a United card holder. But what they did is that they jumped all of the annual fees across the lineup while claiming that now the cards are way more valuable because of a flood of new perks. The sad part is that those perks were not necessarily United specific benefits, but instead were more focused on just general lifestyle credits and benefits. Further than that, many of those new perks are given to you in smaller increments than just like annual credits, for example, and that is the classic Amex coupon book structure. What used to be just simple, reliable value for United cardholders is now more complicated and designed for Chase and United to profit more from their customer base who will not be using all of those perks to their fullest potential. And those changes seem to be somewhat of a testing phase for something much bigger coming down the line, that of course being the refresh to the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. Honestly, I don't even know where to begin with this one. The big headline is, of course, going to be the annual fee hike, where they raised the annual fee from $550 a year to $795. That's a 45% increase to the annual fee and made the Chase Sapphire Reserve the most expensive travel credit card on the market. And they'll hold that crown at least for a few months until the Amex Platinum refreshes come into effect. Now, of course, Chase once again did not just raise the annual fee without adding more perks to it. They stacked the card with really just a laundry list of coupons, once again, like $500 towards the Edit Collection, their brand of luxury hotels, split into two $250 chunks, $300 worth of StubHub credits split up biannually, $300 worth of dining credits through their exclusive Sapphire Reserve Tables program, again split biannually, $250 worth of Apple subscriptions for Apple TV Plus and Apple Music. And those are just what were added. There are also a list of benefits that stayed the same from before. So obviously they gave you more value than the $245 annual fee increase. But in reality, those credits are so chopped up that unless you already were spending on those naturally, then you're going to have to force yourself to change your spending habits, which is not something I recommend you do for a credit card. To make things even more confusing, Chase also adjusted the earning rates on the card, changing all Chase travel purchases to 8x back, bumping up direct flight and hotel bookings to 4x back, and then they kept the 3x back on dining, but removed the 3x back on all other travel category, with all miscellaneous spend outside of that giving you 1x. And here's the kicker here. They didn't just change these benefits, they actually changed the rules of the game with their cards. For as long as I've been in this game, they've had a 48-month rule on their Sapphire cards, which means that every 48 months, basically, you were able to re-get a welcome offer on one of the Sapphire cards as long as it wasn't still in your setup. But now, poof, that's gone. It's now basically a once per lifetime rule. Once again, following the Amex pipeline here, where if you've ever had that Sapphire card bonus before, well, now you can't ever get it again. And with all of those term changes, effectively, Chase is now able to be super selective about who gets a welcome offer on which one of the Sapphire cards, and that's obviously going to take away value from us credit card gamers. That's already a lot of changes, but they did not stop there. They've also changed the way that you can redeem your points. In my opinion, the Chase Sapphire Reserve's best feature has always been that you could get a guaranteed 1.5 cent per point redemption rate through their travel portal, just no matter what. Now that's gone and it was replaced by the points boost feature that will give you up to 2 cents per point for bookings through their travel portal. This sounds exciting, but in practice, it's for very, very specific redemptions, generally either business or first class flights with Star Alliance partners. Yes, that's specific right now, or with luxury hotel brands that are going to push, $1,000+ per night. What this means is that if you're not already a premium style of traveler, then this points boost feature is practically worthless, and you're going to be stuck getting 1 cent per point through the portal, which is just not worth it. I think there is a danger here where people are now going to force themselves to stay at higher tier properties or fly in higher classes just for the sake of a better redemption rate. And that is completely defeating the purpose of the credit card game. So please be aware of that and see if that's happening with you. Lifestyle inflation in the credit card game is real, but a tool that I've used to help me stay away from that path, especially with my premium travel credit cards, is of course Max Rewards. Specifically, Max Rewards has a paid tier called Max Rewards Gold that gives me access to their benefits tracker tab, which helps me calculate my effective annual fee on all of my high annual fee credit cards at just a quick glance. Like even when filming this video, I found out that my flexible business credit only has 6 days left before it expires this month, so Max Rewards Gold just saved me $20 right there. With the gold tier, you also get access to plenty of other great features as well. One of my favorites being the automatic offer activation tool that does exactly what it sounds like and will automatically activate all of your credit card offers for you in the background, which last year alone saved me over $100, more than covering the cost of Max Rewards Gold. Don't think that you have to have their paid tier though. Their free features are great as well. I spend the most amount of my time looking at the free features, to be honest, like the home screen that tells me all of my total point balances, card balances, bill due dates, and more, all in one convenient interface, even though I have cards from like 8 different lenders. Overall, if you want to continue getting the maximum amount of value back from your cards and not fall down this lifestyle inflation rabbit hole, I would definitely consider checking out Max Rewards. If you decide to do so, please use the link in my description and promo code Spencer when you sign up to lock in a 3-month discount off of your annual Max Rewards Gold subscription if you ever decide to upgrade to it. Plus, that lets them know I sent you so I can keep making great videos with them like this. Thank you, as always, to Max Rewards for sponsoring this one, but let's jump back into the content. The frustrating part here is that the Chase Sapphire Reserve used to be a very simple, straightforward premium travel credit card that was fairly easy to recommend because all you had to do to get value from it was use the $300 annual travel credit, the 1.5x multiplier through the travel portal, the lounge access that comes with it, and I mean, you were all set. Now you basically need a spreadsheet to help you track whether or not you're actually winning. What Chase is really trying to do here is force you to only use their credit cards, and specific to the Sapphire Reserve, they want you to only have that one over the Amex Platinum or Venture X or Citi Strata Elite. And they're definitely not alone in this. That's exactly what we saw with the launch of the Citi Strata Elite that came out recently. They want you to put all your spend on it and focus all your attention on their ecosystem. And the same thing goes for the Platinum, and it's only going to get worse with the refreshes coming soon. So with every lender trending in this direction, I completely understand why there's so much negativity in the credit card communities right now. Lenders are basically right now driving a wedge between us cardholders, where the high spend, more luxury style of travelers are getting more value than ever, and Chase gets rewarded for that because they get to profit off of the transaction fees and everything. But the everyday domestic travelers are kind of feeling just left behind. As you'll see in a little bit, I still think we're in a situation where people like me, who I would consider myself normally an everyday domestic traveler, can still get plenty of positive value from these cards, but it's not as simple as it used to be. And what this has led to is that everybody has to be extremely honest with themselves now. And instead of just complaining about these changes, you have to accept the fact that this is the direction that the credit card world is going right now and make the best move for your setup. Don't get caught up in the hype of these cards. Just pick what works for you and leave it at that. So what does all of this mean for me and my Chase Sapphire Reserve? Being a Chase Sapphire Reserve cardholder obviously means that a lot of y'all are curious to know what I plan to do with it. And like I said, I feel like I'm in a unique position where I am mostly an economy domestic traveler, yet I still have the ability to get positive value from it. And I'll explain exactly how. First things first, I have to note that I'm very lucky and I had my annual fee renew on my Chase Sapphire Reserve just a couple of months before they made this refresh happen. And that means I'm locked into that $550 annual fee all the way until May of next year. But with that being the case, the downside is that I don't get access to those new benefits until October of this year. So let's take a look at how I've gotten value from the card in its $550 annual fee form. In my current card member year, which renews in November, I've used the full $300 annual travel credit, the global entry TSA pre-check credit, over $100 worth of DoorDash credits with my free Dash Pass subscription activated as well, only $10 in Lyft credits, but I also activated the Lyft Pink membership, which saves me more money. And I've used the Chase Sapphire Lounge Access specifically whenever I took the Creator Conversations podcast tour earlier this year. So obviously, even with that alone, not including the other benefits on it, I've more than profited from the $550 annual fee. But now I have to completely reevaluate everything with the increased $795 annual fee. I know a lot of y'all were really curious about how I got the effective annual fee for the Chase Sapphire Reserve that I did in the video about me ranking the best credit card setups. And I intentionally didn't talk about it too much in that video because I want you all to calculate your own effective annual fees. But this video is about how I use the card, so we get to get into a bit more detail. First of all, the $300 annual travel credit, which has stayed intact, is going to give me a full $300 worth of value every year because it's super easy to use. The $500 edit credit is also going to be taken at full value for me, since my girlfriend and I usually will book at least one nice property every 6 months for either an anniversary or birthday or whatever. Plus, by staying with the edit hotels, you get added benefits too, like extra credits and stuff like that. So we really enjoyed their properties. The $300 dining credit, same story applies here. I know that it's annoying that it's semi-annual, just like the edit credit, but my girlfriend and I, again, celebrate some kind of anniversary or birthday every 6 months. And while the Sapphire Tables list is extremely small, they have a couple of options that we already go to in our normal lives. So yeah, I can easily take off that full value worth of a credit. Next is the $300 StubHub credit, and luckily we love going to comedy shows and concerts, so although I don't usually use StubHub, I would just use something different, like maybe even just Ticketmaster. Well, now I can just use them instead and get that $300 back, hopefully. The $120 for global entry, TSA PreCheck, or Nexus, I've already used, so that's an annual value of $25, but yeah, not going to make much of a difference here. The $300 DoorDash credits, which I've already noted are extremely annoying because they are broken up into like 3 different credits per month, is actually still something I take advantage of since I have the Dash Pass subscription active from this card. I'm going to discount the value though, because I don't use all of them every month. So I'm going to take $200 worth of value from it, mainly coming from the grocery benefits, since you get a ton of promos by having Dash Pass, and we'll order just, kind of random groceries here and there, maybe once or twice a month. The $120 worth of Lyft credits are something I'm also going to take at a discounted rate because when I'm traveling a lot, I will use this once a month. But this year I haven't been traveling much at all and have only used Lyft like once. So we'll just take half of the value for the expected return, leaving me at $60 there. Also, I forgot to mention the $300 annual travel credit, so add that to the tally as well. Everything else that this card offers, the Apple credits worth up to $250, the $120 worth of Peloton credits, the Dash Pass subscription, all of those are going to be at a $0 valuation just because I would not pay for those services without having this card. So with all of that value I did take into account, my effective annual fee is negative $890 before considering any of the benefits like the Chase Sapphire Lounge access, Priority Pass Select membership, IHG Platinum status, and more. So for me, there's obviously no reason to cancel the Chase Sapphire Reserve right now. Once the Amex Platinum gets its refresh though, I will be calculating an effective annual fee for that card to see if maybe that one gives me a lower effective annual fee. But yeah, if I'm paying about $800 for the annual fee on the Sapphire Reserve, but I'm getting close to $2,000 back from it, I mean, that's a trade I'll take all day. Also, to make these credits a little bit less annoying to deal with, I do plan on stacking them as much as possible. So twice a year, my girlfriend and I can go stay at a Edit Collection hotel, preferably an IHG property to use that IHG Platinum status. We can use the dining credit at one of the nicer restaurants while we're there. And of course, go see a comedy show or concert while we're around and take a Lyft to get there and back. And there you go. We've already used, most of these credits by just taking one trip. You do that every 6 months and there you go. That's easy enough. I say that partially as a joke, but in reality, that is how Chase wants you to be using their cards. And to reiterate, the only reason I can accept those credits as giving me actual value is because I already would have traveled or spent on those things before I had the card. The real question is, how do these credits and benefits work for your lifestyle? If they don't naturally fit into that, then this $795 annual fee card is going to feel extremely bloated and you're practically just going to be wasting that money every year by having it. And that's becoming more and more true with every premium travel credit card these days, not just the Sapphire Reserve. Now, what about my other Chase cards? For those of y'all that have followed the channel for a while, you will know that at one point I held 10 Chase credit cards in my setup at once. But as I mentioned in a recent weekly live stream, which y'all should definitely come join on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, I did cancel 2 of those recently, the Chase Ink Cash and Chase Ink Preferred. Why? Well, because after going 20 for 20 on credit card applications, I got denied for the Hyatt Business Card, mainly due to the fact that I had too much unused available credit with Chase. Don't worry, yes, I did call reconsideration about 4 times and asked them to just open the card by transitioning credit limit over from one card to another, but either way, they didn't want to give it to me, and they quoted the reason being that I got the Chase Ink Premier somewhat recently, so whatever, is what it is, but for the sake of future applications, I decided to close those 2 business cards and free up about $20,000 worth of available credit for those new cards to consume. Honestly, I knew that denial was coming at some point. I knew I was pushing their limitations for how much credit they would extend to me based on my income. And that's because in the past, have just been all about getting as many welcome offers from Chase as possible. I was sitting at over $100,000 in total available credit with Chase alone, and that's just so much for a bank to extend. So yeah, it was only a matter of time. So this is like the first step in my new Chase era strategy. Instead of going for as many welcome offers as possible like I used to, I'm going to start canceling the ones that don't serve me anymore and actually focus in on the ones that give me a ton of value. And that even includes no annual fee cards. If there are certain ones out there that I just don't see a reason to keep, now I have a new reason, that being too much unused available credit, to cancel those cards too. Next up on the chopping block for me are the Southwest Performance Business Cards as well as the Chase Ink Premier. That'll free up another like $500 worth of annual fees, as well as another $21,000 in available credit. And that would be all without touching my personal report, since these are all business cards I've been talking about. Once I've done that, my total Chase card lineup will be composed of 6 cards. And at that point, I'm going to feel a lot better about my approval odds with them going forward. Not to mention, those 6 cards that will remain fit my overall strategy perfectly, because those cards would be the Chase Sapphire Reserve for my premium travel experiences, paired with the Ritz-Carlton for the same purpose, but with Marriott specifically, the Southwest Priority Card for benefits with Southwest and their flights, the Chase Ink Unlimited for a business catch-all, and the OG Chase Freedom and Chase Freedom Unlimited for some personal spend. That's basically the perfect combo of the Chase Sapphire Reserve Chase Trifecta, alongside a hotel and airline card with the companies that I prefer to stay and fly with, and a miscellaneous business catch-all card that you can't go wrong with. Honestly, what else could I even ask for at that point? Like, I could just stop there with Chase cards and never look at them again, but y'all know that's not my style. Here are the main plays that I see myself making when it comes to new Chase card additions in the future. Cycling back through the Chase Ink cards for the sign-up bonuses, picking up Southwest cards again for the companion pass, if that's still viable in 2027 when I need to do it again. Maybe trying for the welcome offer on the personal Chase Sapphire Reserve, since I product changed to it and we still, at the time of recording, don't really know if I'm eligible for that one. The IHG Premier and business cards are definitely on my list because of the amount of value they provide for a low annual fee. Even adding airline cards like the United cards or British Airways or Aeroplan cards for specific trips if I need more miles. And the Chase Sapphire Reserve for business sits way back on my roadmap in case I ever have massive spend coming up to hit that minimum spending requirement for the welcome offer. So yeah, at this point, of course, I would love to just not care about my Chase 524 status anymore, but with that laundry list of to-dos, I feel like it's always going to be a part of my considerations. But that said, that doesn't mean I can't go LOL 24 for, a couple of years and come back to Chase cards after a while. And that's been really tempting for me, especially after getting denied for the Hyatt business card, a card that I really didn't even care to get in the first place, which made me question if I want to keep pouring energy into Chase's lineup right now. Add that to my interest in wanting to expand my hybrid card setup with cards like the Fidelity Cash Rewards Visa and maybe a new gas card like the AAA travel credit card. And it's clear that my short-term roadmap with Chase might be non-existent, except for, getting rid of cards. Of course, Chase's credit cards are always going to be the backbone of my setup because of just how well their cards fit my lifestyle and travel habits, but I'd be dumb to pledge all of my loyalty to one bank. The whole goal of this credit card game is to take money from as many banks as possible, so to limit myself just to Chase cards would be silly. Plus, whenever cracks start to show up in a credit card ecosystem like this one, you shouldn't just sit there and wait for them to expand. My key issue with Chase right now is that they're starting to become just like every other lender, killing one of their only competitive advantages, that being the guaranteed points boost in the portal with your Chase Sapphire Preferred and Reserve. In place of that points boost feature, I think was a pretty massive mistake. And it's another move towards profit rather than customer satisfaction. But honestly, is that not the game here? Lenders are always going to try to take money out of our pockets. So our job is to keep finding holes in their new rules and just see where we can get the max amount of value from them. So yeah, obviously, this really is a new era for my Chase credit card strategy. I'm done being as loyal to them as I've been in the past, partially because I've already gotten so many cards from them, but instead of complaining about these changes, I'm just adapting. I'm focusing on the cards that really do fit my lifestyle, like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, despite all the negative press it's received, canceling the ones that don't make sense for me anymore, like these business cards that I just got for the welcome offer, and leaving room for my roadmap to diversify to different lenders over time. And if you take away anything from this video, I just encourage you to find a strategy like mine that works for you. Speaking of finding that strategy, I'd highly recommend you check out this video next, where I break down 4 of my channel members' credit card setups to help all of the viewers make better choices with their setups going forward. And if you want a full deep dive on your setup through a one-on-one call with me, of course, check my consulting links below. And as always, Odin and I really appreciate y'all watching. If you did enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. and we'll catch you guys next time.